Hello, everyone. This is Sean from 8-Bit Shinobi, and today we got our special guest, Michael Odin, who's currently working on a comic book series called Embrace.
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me on.
So, why don't you tell me a little bit about what got you into comic books?
Well, I grew up in the 90s and I had two older brothers and they were collecting they weren't like big into collecting, but I feel like most teenagers and everything would, every now and again go grab something off a spin rack or what have you and bring it home. And so I would get involved in the comics through there. I grew up watching things like X-Men the animated series, and stuff like that. And so that really bore down this love of comics and superheroes that really just never went away. I just kept getting more and more into it, and then I started getting into the periphery of this industry. A few years ago, I was on a deployment, and I was to kill time. I was writing like reviews and like and analysis pieces on comic books, comic book films, and everything like that for the site Movie Pilot, and I got some attention over there, and I almost became one of their verified creators, and then I split off and I made my own blog, and I did like a whole bunch of stuff like that, and then it got to a point where I was talking about this so much that people were like, "Hey, why aren't you making your own books?" And I was just like, "Well, it's not that simple, but it really is. Like it after a long sequence of events, I effectively just got off my ass and I did it. Um, and we did Elysian Fields. We had that zero issue that we did a campaign for uh almost a year ago. I think a year ago in March will be like the year mark from when we did our Elysian Fields campaign, the initial the initial one, and then since then I've done a second Elysian Fields book. We had that go through Indiegogo initially. We raised over 8K on that, and then we have a Kickstarter going for the Elysian Fields Deluxe Edition that collects the zero issue and Pyramid Gambit to allow that market to kind of get their feet wet in it. And then we have the Embrace, which is coming in March.
So, why don't you tell me a little bit about the new comic book series that you're I believe you're what's the word pre-launching, right?
Yeah, we have it pre-launched right now. We've got our mailing list up, and so the Embrace is this kind of dark gothic take on the superhero genre, very similar to stories like we have. I took a lot of inspiration from James O'Bare's The Crow. There's a smaller book by Robert Kirkman and Todd McFarlane called Haunt that they did back in the mid 2000s, that I took a bit of inspiration for, and it's just this emotionally charged story about this father who lost his kid, got murdered, and the police they don't have any idea who did it, and so they're closing the case, and so the ghost of his son comes back and teams up with his dad, and they're going out after the people that killed his son to bring them to justice. Um, and so yeah, that's really what we're doing, and we have a fantastic art team on the book. I've got Dean James, the host of Comics Mate, is the line artist of the book and is my co-creator of the Embrace. And then we have Avery Ferdinand, who's been on books like Operation Eclipse and Harlan Buck Free Sword. He's going to be doing our colors, and it's just been a fantastic experience so far. This idea honestly started, I wouldn't even put it 3 months ago, and for it to be gaining the momentum that it has, and for us to be doing as well as we are, where we have over 100 signups so far, we have people submitting fan art, we have a fan art competition going on. Like it's just incredible.
Awesome. Oh, thanks, Dojo Coon Comics for coming on. Hail 8
What's
bit
up, Dojo?
Shinobi. So I noticed your character kind of reminds me of Soul Reaver from the Legacy of Kain series.
Yeah. When we were doing the design, it was one of those things where like I was talking to Dean, and like the way that I'd kind of pictured it was his suit would almost be symbiotic, like what you see in Spider-Man, but like I wanted it to kind of harken back to things like the Crow, and we even talked about stuff like Darkness and Soul Reaver and everything like that. And this is what we came up with. And I think that it has this like really nice blend of a whole bunch of different designs and everything. And I it's honestly, Dean did just a tremendous job. And there are even parts to the design that really just throw off other artists when they get into it. It's really fun to see everybody try their hand at drawing the embrace, because it's such a unique design, especially when you have taking consideration like the placement of the hands and everything like that. It's a really cool look for a character.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've I find that indie comics are so much better than anything that you can get from Marvel and DC. Like I feel like they're pushing the world into you, and like I'm like I read comics and all this stuff to get away from all this crap.
Yeah, no, and like I'd say that there are certainly exceptions to the rule, and in the mainstream like that,
Mhm.
I still go back and check out some stuff here and there, and there are certainly some books that like you got every now and again you get a creative team that brings it, but for the most part I 100% agree with you. Like I don't even none of the money that I used to spend on mainstream books I spend on mainstream anymore. I generally just back campaigns. That's all I do. Because at the end of the day, I'd rather spend like $25 on a graphic novel sized book and get a good chunk of content that's worth every penny than spend, you know, $30-$40 a month on a single title where it's just crap. Like and it's one of those things where it's unfortunate that the mainstream had to get that the mainstream is at the point where it's at, because these are all these characters that I'm fairly certain that if any one of us had a chance to write or draw for, we'd be through the roof. Um, but the fact of the matter is that it is what it is, and it's led to this indie renaissance where you've got these people who are taking these stories and ideas that they had for their favorite characters and bringing them to life in the indie scene. And the result has really just showcases like this was always an industry that depended upon the creativity and ingenuity of its fan base to make genuine stories. And the fact that the mainstream is missing out on it is honestly all the better for the indie, because that's where all of us are going.
Yeah, and what I also like is how everyone supports each other. Because when I first started, I just went to my local Comic Con, and I just started talking to other creators and stuff, and they're more than how that ready to say, okay, you need to do this, this, and this, or I could help you do this, this, and this.
Yeah, no, there's so much support. There really is. There's so much support from all the other creators, and as one of the things that really, you know, I don't want to say like took me by surprise or shocked me, but it's beautiful. You know, when I was doing the Zero issue, Luke Stone got a hold of me because he saw the potential in my book in Elysian Fields, and so he started talking to me about some stuff, and he really showed me the ropes. And you know, without Luke, I wouldn't be here. Uh, you know, like there's every everybody wants everybody else to succeed, and as much as we are technically each other's competition in the indie market, we also recognize, like, you know, another indie book funded and another indie book fulfilled and everything like that is another win that puts us above the mainstream, because it's another group of people that'll get these books, read them, and be like, man, this is just another reason why I should never read another book from the clowns over in the mainstream again, and just go read more indie stuff.
Yeah, I know, like, and like what really hurts me a little bit is like when you go to these conventions and then you talk to these creators at Marvel and DC. I'm not gonna name names because I'm not like that, but I like talk to these guys at conventions, and then I start building up my following, and then I'm being blocked by them. And I'm like, I'm your fan and you're blocking me because you don't like what I'm saying or something, or because of who I affiliate with.
And you know, it's one of those things where I have not been personally blocked by a lot of the mainstream pros. I'm sure that my time is coming. like like
Yeah.
like it's only a matter of time. But like my whole thing with it is just like, at the end of the day, you can disagree with somebody about a whole variety of topics and not be an asshole to one another. Like, at the end of the day, like, I don't really care what anyone's political beliefs are, so long as you aren't trying to spew hate about a person for whatever reason, outside of like them personally being a dick to you. I don't have any issues with you. And I'm not gonna, like we all know that there are the creators out there that are like, if you don't like it, don't buy my book. Well, that's dumb of you, um, to say that. But like us in the indie scene, we don't have the luxury of having, you know, massive, not even really massive, but having guaranteed paychecks from these big companies. We rely directly on our audience. And so if we get feedback, we listen. And then on top of that, I don't care what your political affiliations are. I care if, you know, you purchase my book and you say, "Hey, I really like this," or "Hey, I think this is something that you could do better on." I like getting the interaction with these people that are my consumer base. And the fact that that has become lost on the mainstream, and it's literally
Mhm.
just a a cyclical pattern of patting each other on the back. And the moment that you're not in that cycle of patting somebody on the back, no matter how subpar that work is, you're out.
Yeah, it's a shame, and I love the community. Like, I remember going to my first Comic-Con. I didn't even know the guy, and I wasn't able to get a ride back to where my aunt was living. The guy's like, "Don't worry about it. I'll drive you to your aunt's place." I didn't even know this guy. I was in a city I didn't know, and this random person who was a fan like me just managed to be like, "Yeah, I'll bring you over." Like, the community is just so supportive.
And that's awesome. I love hearing stories like that. Like, at the end of the day, you know, we're all in this together in one way or another. Every single one of us grew up loving comics, grew up loving these characters, and you know, it brings us that much closer together, and that's really great.
So, what are some tips that you would give someone who's starting out that wants to start his own series or her
Um,
series?
so the first things first is you are your own worst enemy when it comes down to writing your own series. And it's in so many ways. Like, the only thing that's going to prevent you from doing it is you. You got to sit down, buckle down, and get stuff done. But then on top of that, you also need to make sure that, and this is especially for indie books. We also need to make sure that you're sending your scripts out to a good group of people that you can trust to give you critical feedback. And hell, even bringing on an editor is huge. I think that's one of the big things. If you're looking to go on and do a series and it's your first time, get an editor. Always get an editor. The big pros that are legends in the industry, we're not above an editor, neither is anyone else here. And then there are some fantastic editors in the indie scene that are more than affordable. There's no excuse. Make sure that you have an editor. I did see Dojo Kun asked
I'll
how
put
soon.
it up again.
How soon ahead of time is too soon to start pre-launch signups? I would say that really it's a matter of how much you like. If you cannot fill up the majority of the things on the Indiegogo pre-launch page thing, it's probably too soon. Like the only thing that you don't really need on a pre-launch page is a video. So like if you don't have at least a cover and some character concepts and stuff like that to put on a pre-launch page to kind of give people an idea of what the feel of your book is going to be, it's probably too soon. But if you've got enough of that stuff, I don't think that there's really a time limit on like on too soon, because at the end of the day, every single day that you have prior to launching your campaign to promote it is potentially more eyes on to the book. So I don't think there's really a time limit on, pre-launch being done before launch, so long as you're not just sitting there for like 2 or 3 years of the pre-launch page. But like if you set up a pre-launch page and you go even as far out as like 6 months, Joe Catapano has had his pre-launch page for Star Circuit for a hot minute. But I wouldn't say that he launched that pre-launch page at all too soon, because again, Joe Catapano is doing live streams of him drawing, showcasing the progress on the book, and that is building hype, and that's building people signing up for that campaign. And that's what you want. Like, that's the whole purpose of a pre-launch, is to build the hype for the book. So I don't think that there's really a too long. I mean, as I said, like within reason, I would say that if you launch a pre-launch page and you haven't gotten it up within a year since you started that pre-launch page, you might have put it out too early. But like it all depends. It really does. I don't think that there's a concrete answer for that.
All right. Yeah, I find it's like a lot of trial and error, especially from what a lot of people are telling me. They're just like, just launch a first, just get it out there, and then just learn from it.
Yeah. Well, and I will say that do not just launch a campaign if you haven't done one before. Definitely do the pre-launch page, get on some shows, get some hype behind it, and what have you. But like at the end of the day, you're going to need to pull that trigger eventually in getting the campaign going. And the only really big thing that you need to do as far as your campaign is concerned is to make sure that your books are getting out to your consumer base in a timely fashion. You've got a lot of campaigns that have had, their deadlines set for like, a solid year and a half past, and these are campaigns that racked up quite a bit of money. And that's, to me, unacceptable, and it's, for a lot of people, that's unacceptable. If you say that you're going to have your book out by a certain time, have it out by then. If you come across a delay that pushes you back by a month or two, like for instance, the artist of Elysian Fields, Marcelo Oliveira Costa, his drawing table, he had a digital drawing table. It got goofed up in November, and so we had to wait for him to get his new drawing table to come in for him to finish the inks and colors, and so that put us a little bit behind schedule. And so, the books are at the printers now, but then I also still have to send some books off to like Kevin Sharp to sign and to Scott Rosema to sign. And so I had a January fulfillment date. It's probably going to be it's going to be February now, more than likely, and I'm hoping to have everyone's books shipped out to them by March 1st when we're looking to launch the Embrace.
Awesome. That sounds like quite the undertaking right there.
It is, but it's not impossible, and we just got to make sure that we hunker down and get it done.
That's cool. So I'm just gonna share the screen and show everyone your pages.
Yeah.
All right. Can campaigns be oversaturated with reward tiers on stretch goals?
Add-ons and stretch goals. Add-ons, I don't think so, because add-ons you can literally just have like a whole bunch of add-ons in the so that whenever like somebody purchases something, they have like a whole list of stuff that they could add in there. I don't think that that's really a problem. From what I have seen, John Malin has given a lot of people advice, myself included, that like the golden number that you want to hit with reward tiers is anywhere between 9 and I think 12 or something like that. Like, you do not want much. You want enough so that there's a variety, but you do not want too many to overwhelm the audience. I'm gonna go. I'll have to go back and find the stream that I was on. I was on a Mandy Summers show where Malin was there, and I was talking about how many tiers I had planned for Pyramid Gambit, and he was just like, lower that number a bit. Like, it's good to have a lot of tiers, but you don't want too many, especially not at start. And that's the other thing is, as you unlock stuff throughout your campaign, you can always add tiers in there as like secret tiers that become public once you hit a certain stretch goal, as a way for people that already purchased something to be like, oh man, I really like that, I want to get that too, and go back and they now have something new to purchase. So like that's the other thing, is that you want to make sure that you kind of have that stuff kind of playing out and what have you.
All right, so let's get to which one did you want to do first? I have the Kickstarter for Elysian and the Embrace. Do you want to?
Let's hit that Kickstarter for Elysian first, because I do have I think it's like 64 hours left on that campaign, and we are getting so close. So yeah, we have man, is that Canadian dollars?
Yes, that's in
Okay.
Canadian.
Oh man, I was about to get really excited. It was like, holy crap, we got a huge jump. Um, so our goal is 2,500 for the 2,500 USD for this campaign. We are at, I want to say, just below 1,600, but just below 1,500 on this book. So we have literally only $1,000 left to get funded with this. And the cool thing about this is that if we hit that that funding goal, Elysian Fields will have officially broken into the five-figure territory in our in on through campaigning. We will have broken 10K. So like it's a huge deal. You know, and we'd love to have you guys on. This is if anyone's watching this that hasn't heard about Elysian Fields, this deluxe edition of the book collects both the zero issue and Pyramid Gambit in 78 pages of story. It's got an extensive art gallery, um, a character glossary, you name it. So it's a perfect starting point for anyone looking to get into the series as well.
Yeah, I'm a really huge fan of the Greek mythology. I remember in the '90s growing up with Kevin Sorbo's Hercules.
Yep, and Hercules is a big character in this series. And we get to play with a whole bunch. It's not even just the Greek myths. We're bringing in, they're going up against the Egyptians in this book. Uh, you get to see the Mesopotamians. You get to see a lot of stuff uh, in this series, and we have really big plans for it and what have you. And so yeah, this is a campaign for people to back for sure.
Right, so let's take a look at the tiers.
Mhm.
So you have the $10 pledge without a reward. Uh, $1 or more worthy recognition. Never underestimate the power of a single dollar. We'll send you a personal e-card. That's pretty awesome.
Yep, I'm gonna be having to write a lot of those here shortly if we do end up getting funded because everyone's getting at least a thank you letter, and then for $5 you get the digital copy of the issue zero. Um, you get for the $15 you get a digital copy of Pyramid Gambit and a digital copy of the issue zero, and yeah, you got the Pyramid Gambit main cover. So these are all like the stuff that we had left over effectively from that Pyramid Gambit campaign. Um,
That's a pretty good price. I sometimes see these things go for a lot more. So that's
yeah, I really want these books. I really want every book that I do to be as cost efficient as possible. I don't want anybody to ever get my book and feel like, man, I understand that he had to like that it's not just paying for like the printing. He's trying to recoup his cost from the things that he spent for the art and everything. But like I really felt like spending this much money didn't warrant the page count or this or that. And so I like it. I'm very conscious about where I'm putting my price points, you know. Um, so it's one of those things where I really want it to um to feel like you got something that was worthwhile. And for you to feel like you got even more than what you paid for. Because I feel like that's the best business practice is if somebody gets something and they're like, man, I knew I was expecting to for this to be worth it, but this is even better than I expected. That's what I want to leave people with.
okay. So we're almost running out of time. So I'm gonna go to can you see the Indiegogo right now?
Yeah, let's rock that out.
Okay. So we'll watch the teaser. Let me know if you could see everything okay. Can you see it?
Uh, it's still showing up the Kickstarter campaign for me.
Sorry, what was that?
I still am only seeing the Kickstarter campaign for me.
Okay, I'm gonna try to hold on.
It, yeah, hold on.
Try that again. Sometimes these things do what they want. All right. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll start
And
the
so we've got
trailer.
this short little teaser trailer here that's fantastic. Dean knocked it out of the park.
All right. So here's the mailing list.
Yep, yep.
So people that are interested just put their email and sign up.
Absolutely. And as I said, we have I think we're at 105 last time I checked signups. And so this book is going to be awesome. We have a little teaser there for our redux of the issue 0 of Elysian Fields, where we took all of the feedback that we got and are making a recolored, relettered book to showcase that we listened to everyone's feedback, and then showcase a little bit more of character concepts and other art from the campaign below that. And the other big thing with this is, as I said before, we have the fan art contest that we're doing. That everyone has till February 15th to get their submissions in, and so Dean and I will be going through all the fan art we get, and the top 3 pieces will be featured inside the book in a fan art gallery. The top piece will be featured in the campaign and will be uh, a free add-on for everyone that purchases the book in the first 30 days. Um, and so yeah, no, it's it's a really exciting book. We hope to see as many people there in that mailing list as possible, and we're looking forward to seeing all the fan art pieces. There's a lot of great aspiring artists out there, and you know this character has really inspired some people to do some really cool stuff with their art. So both Dean and I are just thrilled to see this character take off the way he has.
That's cool. They can follow you on Indiegogo. The links are in the description. That back up so everyone could see it. And where can and everyone find you?
So you can find me on Twitter at Elysian Fields _0. You can find us on Facebook under Nine Realms Publishing. We'd love to have you on both places. And then yeah, as he said, you can um you're more than welcome to sign up for that mailing list on the Indiegogo and what have you. And we're looking forward to launching the Embrace here on in March. So. And thanks again, 8-Bit. This has been awesome.
No problem. It feels so rewarding that to give back because like when I started, I just started growing and my channel started growing, and I'm like, well, maybe I should start giving back too and doing interviews as well as going on interviews.
Absolutely, man. And I appreciate you having me on. And you just let me know when your book comes out, man. I'll definitely be taking a look at it, and we'll be hopefully helping you push that when you're ready to launch.
Thanks. Yeah, we're thinking of launching with our virtual Comic Con that's coming up March, just to like give it a little kick and hopefully have like special covers with our guests on it for like the variant covers. We got Vic Mignogna coming. We got Chuck Huber. We got Stephanie Nadalin, the voice of Broly, the voice of Android 17, and the voice of Gohan. She's actually Stephanie Nadalin's going to be on our show next week.
That's
So
awesome, man.
anyone
I'll
who's
I'll
watching,
definitely be tuning in for that.
yeah, she's gonna be on. We kind of settled on a Thursday, Wednesday, Thursday. I just put up the link so that we can get that buzz going. But when she sets the date with me and we got it solid, we're gonna like say okay, we're going live on either of those days, like probably the day before or whatever. And if not, we reschedule because things happen with these types of things, right?
Absolutely, man. Well,
Well,
as I
thanks
said,
for coming on. Is
yeah,
there
man.
anything that you
It's
want to tell our guests before you head out?
no, man. Just sign up for the Embrace Back Elysian Fields Deluxe Edition if you haven't already, or if you can't, share it around. Any support we can get from you is appreciated. And thanks again so much for having me on.
No problem. We'll also definitely be pushing your stuff, and I already signed up, so I think I'm the 105th guy under
Awesome. Glad to
grown up
have you.
trunks. That's me.
Well, you guys should be. I completely forgot to do it this morning, but when I get home, I'm going to be sending out the the Embrace newsletter to everyone on the mailing list. Every weekend on Saturday, I send out I download the updated spreadsheet from Indiegogo, and I send out a mass email to everybody to give them some sneak peeks and stuff that's coming.
All right. Well, thanks for coming on the show, and we'll definitely love to have you on again sometime to help push your campaign once it gets started.
Yeah, man, sounds good.
Well, have yourself a great evening or whatever time it is where you are.
Hey, man, I'm Eastern. I'm Eastern right along with you, so it is evening out right now. Thank you so much. You have a great evening as well.
You too.
And
Take
yeah,
care.
take care.
Bye.